Uh, Hello guys, this is Shubham this side. So today we would be talking about the VM assignment that we received. The task is simple, like we have to create three VMs respectively with our roll numbers, where in first roll number we have to install web server. So I have chosen Apache 2, whereas for second VM we have to install the DB. We have installed for me I have chosen MySQL as my DB database, whereas the task is like we have to access both with help of VM1 and VM2. We need to coexist and host a server from VM1, and also parallelly we have to also access the SQL from VM2 in VM1, and both VM1 and VM2 should get accessed from the CRUD application from VM3 or the host application. So I have done all the installation and everything. So let me give a brief intro on that. So all the setups and files can be found on my personal repo. Hopefully that the screen is visible to all of you. So in my repository, I have mentioned VM PHP repository in which all the changes are there. So in the index.php is the place where I have integrated all my codes that I would be hosting on the Apache server, whereas my connections inputs are also provided in the same, with followed by connection IP, DB name, DB password, whereas the table name for the DB's name, database name that is. So let's switch to VirtualBox itself. So there are before proceeding, let me share you three things that we need to keep in mind while starting or installing the VirtualBox. So just a second. Okay. I believe my virtual box is opening. Yeah, it is open. Before I proceed, so I have created three virtual box. In those three virtual boxes, I have installed Ubuntu 20.0 version. Two to three things that we need to keep in mind is like first we need to enable two bridges network for each virtualware so that the interaction can happen between host and uh, the guest user. So to achieve that, you just need to go anyone, click on the setting. In meanwhile, before you do, just remember that all the VM are closed and shut down. So after that, we need to just click on network. We need to set up adapter 1 and adapter 2. In adapter 1, we also need to make sure that we have a port forwarding. That is so that the host and the VM can get interacted with. Otherwise, the interaction won't happen, in which I have hosted 80 port to the guest host as 80, and whereas 22 for 22, because one of my VM is using for SQL, whereas other one is using for the local host. Similarly, adapter 2, you need to keep notice that you have to attach to host adapter here, so that the host can interact with the system itself. Okay, so similarly I have to do it for all the three to make it work. So let's dive in for the virtual box itself. So let me show you, switch back to my VirtualBox 1. Okay. Uh, so I will go it from here, show VirtualBox 1 itself. So for each my user, I have kept the username easy and simple, that is VM, and password as 123456789. Okay. So I have already opened the terminal itself. Here we would be having the Apache server installed, so we can just check Apache/v. So as you can see, I have Apache version 2.4.41 that is already installed in my system. So I can also check that parallelly by using the status of Apache. So I need to give the password since I was logged out for a longer time. So uh, as you can see that my Apache is up and running as of now. I also need to check the IP on which my Apache is running. So for doing that, I can just write ipconfig. So here is the IP config file that you can see, and my IP server that is it is hosted on is 192.168.101. That is for one. Also, the hosted file that we need to keep in point is that would be present in variable, that would be cd where www and html. So this would be the place where all our entire application would be hosted, that we need to show in the UI. So I can just do ls, and these are the files that I showed in my GitHub repo, that is index.php readme file and all the files. So if you want me, I can show the index.php that we would be using, that we are currently using. So I can do it simply by using nano index.php. I use sudo because if I won't be using sudo, it would be giving me an access error. So I won't be able to access it or rewrite the files. So this is the code that I have mentioned that will be doing the update functionality. So simply I have deployed a CRUD implementation where end user would be put filling in username and user ID and user registration numbers where a submit, and also you can update or delete it on the day-to-day life scenario. So I need to close it. So let's close it. Let me switch back to VM2. So let me switch back to VM2. Yes. So again, I would be logging in. So as you can see, it is VM2. Again, I'm logging in. Same password 123456789. And in VM2, I have installed MySQL here. All the steps and everything would be mentioned in the doc file or the readme file of my repository. So let me show you like is the MySQL status. So since I have installed MySQL, I can directly see the status itself. So this is how we can see the status. Similarly, I would be showing you the IP configuration for this. So this is the IP, and here's it is a subnet, so it would be 102. 192.168.56 is a common file, it's common IP, followed by 102. I can also check like whether my previous IP is getting pinged from VM1 here or not. So I can just write ping 192.168.56.101. That was my IP. So I am getting a successful response from there. So I can say that my VM1 and VM2 is connected. Now let me show you how we can access the DB here. So for DB, I need to go to MySQL. In MySQL, I need to go to my root, the user. So my user is VM. So this is the VM. I am accessing it. Again, it is asking me for password. The password is same. So currently I have logged in as MySQL. So as you can see MySQL, this is we are currently in my DB. I would be simply writing uh, show databases. So all the databases that are present in my system VM2 would come up. So I've created IIT JG23 2028. So I would be just using it. So for that selecting, we can use IITJ. So I have changed the DB there. Now I would be checking like what is the file there. It is present inside of that. So I can do it like show tables. So if I show a table, it contains one student, and to show all the files, the names that is present in that, I can show. So as you can see, Raj Raj, Raja Raj, Uttam Kumar. These all are the files that is currently saved in my table. So let's switch to VM3 where we can try to access each and every file. So again, I would be giving the password. Yes. So before proceeding, we can just double confirm whether we are able to access both our VMs. So I would be just writing pinging both my VMs. So VM1 is getting response, so this is fine. Again, I would be checking for my VM2. So VM2 is also getting a successful response. And similarly, I can also check for this IP. What is this IP? So as you can see, for first VM was 101, 102. Similarly, for VM3 is 103 since it is running in the subsequent subnet. So we are able to get in a sequence. So let me go to the Mozilla tab. So now what we would be trying to achieve is like we would be up and running and using the VM1 hosted Apache server so that we can interact it here from here. So the IP would be, what happened? Sorry. I was earlier using wide setup. I was trying to achieve with the wide setup. So the 5173 localhost was safe for that. So I need to put in my IP address, that is 192.168.1 sorry, 56.102. That is the IP. Oh, sorry guys. 68.56.101. So this is the IP address that we are using for VM1. Earlier IPs that I was trying was for either for localhost and other, so we were not able to access it. So my bad. As you can see, this is my VM. So this is a assignment from Virtual Cloud Computing. Um, so as you can see, this was the name that we showed Raja, Raj, Uttam Kumar. These are the DBs that we are trying to achieve from VM2, and it is being getting updated on a live scenario. So let's assume that what I would be doing is like I would be deleting Raja from here. As soon as we hit delete, we get an interaction here saying the record deleted successfully. And if I go to my VM2, and again try to check it. So as you can see, earlier we had Raja. Since we deleted it, the Raja is gone. Again switching back to VM1, sorry, VM3, we will try to enter something here. Let's suppose the names that are given here is Uttam Kumar, Shubham. There is no name called Shubham Raj, so let me enter a name saying Shubham Raj, and for trial purpose, let's say I would be giving 2024. So since 2024 is also not present here, so I would be just hitting submit. As soon as we click on submit, uh, so we would be getting Shubham Raj as 2024. And again to just double cross verify, I would be again going to VM2 and I would be again checking it. So as you can see, Shubham Raj 2024 has been integrated, that is on VM2. Now switching back for the same thing, now I would be demonstrating it with the local host itself, that is my personal system. So currently we are not on VM. As you can see, my VM are closed down. So this is the local host, similarly to the place where we have hosted it. It is also interacting with the local host, that is the Apache server itself. So same thing, as you can see, Shubham Raj, just I added Shubham Raj 2024, it got added here, and the Raja was deleted back here. So I can also interact, like if I say, let's see, there are two Shubhams here, right? If I delete one, again I delete other Shubham, so only five records are here, as four records are here, one, two, three, four. So if I go back to my one of my VM3, and again if I refresh this page, that is, so as you can see, this will also be dynamically updated. So all only four records are present as of my local host. Sorry, the screen got closer. And here also parallelly, if I try to achieve, let's say Abhi, Abhiraj, roll number as 2025, and if I update it, so this is also getting successfully recorded, Abhiraj. And if I go back to my VM again, VM3, one second, I just minimize this scenario so that got closed. Yep. So again, I would be just refreshing this page, and as you can see, Abhiraj came in. And also, if I can show you the DB itself, so if I again show, as you can see, Abhiraj has come in, so all the five records are here. So that's there to us. And also, if you want how to create a dummy data, that I have added in my description, that as of now I have not structurized it, but this is how I have created a DB. So how you can create a DB is like create database, and whatever DB name that you need to give. I have used IT and my roll number. So any roll number that or any DB name that you are looking for, you can replace it from here itself, and you can customize it here. These are the records that I had given as a default parameter. So these were the three records earlier. So I modified it so it got updated. And after that, we have to set a primary key so that from where we can fetch the data itself. That is for me is ID, and we would be doing an auto increment for everything's value it is present in there. Parallelly, if you want any changes in your localhost, let's assume that if you want to change the localhost, the IP subnet that we are getting, that also we can do, but that I would be doing it in some other reference videos, since we have some more tasks in this. I was trying to achieve to host white setup, but I went ahead, since the time constraint was there and was not able to achieve it. So I went ahead and made it from the PHP file itself, since PHP files references were available. And as I mentioned, if you want to try it out or make the UI changes, so you can simply change it from the index.php file, and in below all the indexes files are mentioned here. So you can modify anything from the HTML file and CSS followed with by PHP files and other things, so that you can also customize according to your personal opinions. So thank you. That's all. Hope and thank you. If any question, do reach out to me. My roll number is G23 2028 from IITJ. Thank you.